Government almost certainly originated with the need to protect people from conflicts and to provide law and order. Though the laws and responsibilities vary greatly through time and place, government must create them. Government provides the parameter for everyday behavior for citizens, protect them from outside interferences, and often provide for their well-being and happiness. Today, most governments at least claim to be ruled by law. The most common indication is the existence of a written constitution. Citizens make the future of the country. Many things depend on the governed, such as me and you. Every citizen can do something useful for the development of their country. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance that the citizens are educated of their government.
To begin, democracy did not originate with the founding of the United States. The term democracy comes from the two Greek words desmos, the people, and kratia, power of authority. Democracies are based on rule of law. The ancient Greeks, particularly Aristotle, valued natural law, the notion that human societies should be governed by ethical principles found in nature. Greeks are famous for practicing direct democracy, a system in which citizens meet to discuss all policy and then make decisions by majority rule. America is a democratic republic in that the U.S. elects people to a parliament to represent the people, so it is a democracy. And
you go over to China.
It is also a republic because it doesn't have a monarch and has some form of representation.
As previously mentioned, most governments at least claim to be ruled by law. The most common indication is the existence of a written constitution. What the Constitution states defines the intricacies of the government's power over the governed. Being knowledgeable about what the Constitution says can lead to better judgment in protecting yourself against fines and arrest by learning this country's rules. In fact, one of the most important rights a citizen should know is the right to vote. Your vote influences national decisions. However, in most communities, the turnout for voting is less than 50%. Every vote matters. There have been several cases in U.S. history where this has been seen. The New Hampshire Senate race was decided by 2 votes out of 200,000 in 1974. The Massachusetts election was decided by 2 votes out of 100,000 in 1839. And the Alaskan congressional race was decided by a single vote out of 10,000 cast in 2008. During presidential elections, citizens' votes are of particular importance. It's a process of the Electoral College's use, which is made up of 538 electors who cast votes and decide the presidential and vice president of the United States. When voters go to the polls, they will be choosing which candidate receives their state's electors. The candidate who receives the majority of the electoral votes, or 270, wins the presidency.
Our federal government has 3 parts. They are the executive, which includes the president, the legislative, which includes the Senate and House of Representatives, and the judicial, which includes the Supreme Court and lower courts. These branches hold specific significant responsibilities that citizens should be adequately educated for various reasons, such as avoiding drastic media claims, such as Donald Trump declaring World War III. The president's powers are described in Article 2 of the Constitution, and American presidents do not have the vast majority of powers that most presidential candidates claim. The president, for example, does not set tax rates. The president also does not spend money, and he also does not pass laws or declare wars. The U.S. Congress is made up of the House of Representatives, whose representation is determined by population, and the Senate, in which every state has 2 representatives. The Congress is the only government body that can declare war, and the U.S. Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and Senate, in which every state has 2 representatives. The House of Representatives is the only government body permitted to raise revenue. The Senate is also incredibly important because it must advise and consent to many of the president's appointments. The judicial branch consists of the U.S. Supreme Court and the Federal Judicial Center. Justice of the Supreme Court must be confirmed by the Senate, as must the cabinet members, most head of the most federal government agency, and ambassadors. The court is increasingly required to make difficult public policies decisions that our legislative branch cannot or will not decide upon. The Supreme Court is not and has never been a truly non-political body. Its members are nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate.
The media is the single most influential factor of public opinion. Media outlets do take advantage of this power and may use it to advance political agendas. They choose what you see and don't see, and may even exaggerate details to change your opinion on subjects. Therefore, when seeking information about current issues, reading from factual media outlets diminishes chances of reading or seeing fabricated material. It can be challenging to determine whether a website you're using is credible, but here are a few things to look for. Author, as information on the internet with a listed author, is one indication of a credible site. The fact that the author is willing to stand behind the information presented, and in some cases include his or her contact information, is a good indication that the information is reliable. Date, as the date of any research information is important, including the information found on the internet. By including a date, the website allows readers to make decisions about whether the information is recent enough for their purposes. Sources, as credible websites like books and scholarly articles, should cite and source the information presented. And lastly, writing style. Poor spelling and grammar are an indication that the site may not be credible. In an effort to make the information presented easy to understand, credible sites watch writing style closely.